Hey everyone, today we'll be taking a look at the PC version of Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 3 V-Generation. Rebirth 3 is available on Steam and is a port of a PlayStation Vita remake of Neptunia Victory, which was for the PS3. Since this is the third Rebirth game, I'm going to assume that you know what this series is all about and who the major characters are, so I won't bother explaining the basics. If you're new to the series, just watch my review of Rebirth 1. Like most Neptunia games, the game starts off with a fight. Don't worry, they haven't fallen out, they're just playing a video game.
No! I lost you guys!
Eventually, Histy gets all pissy about Neptune and Nepgear being lazy bums, and sends them out to do some actual work for Goddess's sake. Stuff happens and Neptune gets sucked into another dimension, which takes place in 1989 apparently. There she meets alternate versions of the CPUs and some new characters like Plutia and Pishi. Plutia is the alternate dimension CPU of Planeptune, whose personality changes drastically in her HDD form.
Sadist is Pluty? A spaced out, gullible Pluty? Sadie is more like it.
The baddies in the game are the Seven Sages, who don't seem to particularly like the idea of CPUs running the countries.
She definitely said blah blah blah, 7 sages.
I don't want to spoil anything in the story, but I will say that I think that Rebirth 3 has the most interesting story of all the games in the series. What is that thing? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. It's like a magical girl mascot reject with a thong and pasties. Also, it has eyes in its eyes. Even though Rebirth 3 is very similar to the previous games in gameplay, it manages to be the best of the three. It feels slightly more polished and some of the combat mechanics have been switched up a little. The combat basics are still the same. Gameplay is turn-based and you can move your character around within a specified radius. The hitbox size and shape depends on the character and weapon equipped. You still have regular attacks as well as special attacks like before. The biggest difference is that the SP increases as you hit opponents. This is pretty useful because in Rebirth 1 and 2, I sometimes found myself depleting my character's SP as I progressed through the dungeon. Then, I didn't have enough SP to transform into HDD mode when facing the boss. The new system ensures that you'll have plenty of SP at the end of the dungeon. I know I can use items to replenish SP, but I always forget. Previous game mechanics like the Liddy system for team attacks, Stella's Dungeon, which is a luck-based dungeon crawler minigame, the Colosseum, which gives you rewards for winning battles, and the remake system are still present and function in a similar fashion. I know that I complained about it in my Rebirth 2 review, but I don't like the remake system. I dislike having to gather items and plans to get new dungeons or change the existing ones. What a pain in the ass. You'll have to use it though if you want to get all the endings. The museum also makes a reappearance. You can take a look at all the art, events, and music you've unlocked. The ability to rewatch events came in really useful when recording the footage for the review. As you progress through the game, you'll find no shortage of characters. In addition to all the CPUs and CPU candidates, you unlock a literal pile of characters that represent various game companies and franchises. It can get kind of annoying when they all level up at the same time.
Level up! Level!
The store has been changed slightly in Rebirth 3. It is much easier to find character-specific items now. Just select the character you want to buy weapons, armor, or clothing for, and it shows what's available to them. This is much better than how it worked previously. As always, the costumes are often references to other games and characters. For example, you can make Tekken cosplay as characters from the Tekken series. One of the additions to Rebirth 3 I like a lot are the Nepstation segments you get after completing chapters. It's not essential to the game, obviously, but the silly news stories are fun, plus you get to buy items in bulk in the Wallet Crusher segments and win items in the Millionep quiz. I've been talking about the good aspects of the game, but there are a few things that I'm not too fond of. For example, the costume canvas from the original version of the game hasn't been implemented here. In Victory, you could actually load up custom skins for all the CPUs. It was cool to see what kind of stuff people were able to come up with. It was equally funny to see how many nude skins there were as well. That's probably why they removed that functionality. Can't have naughty stuff in this game. Some issues I have with the game are caused by the fact that it's a port of a console game. For example, the controls. The controls are fine if you use a controller. Keyboard controls are terrible. Remapping doesn't help, unless you remap everything to controller buttons, that is. Another issue is the graphics. There's just nothing to customize. This means people with crappy computers can't turn anything down to get extra performance. This also means that players who have computers with some actual nuts can't jack anything up. The environments are a bit flat and plain also. The characters look pretty nice to me though because of the anime art style. I will say though that I think the menus and fonts have been improved over the previous games. Everything still functions about the same, but the fonts are more legible and the color scheme is more vibrant than the dull dark purple they used before. The sound is acceptable. Nothing too special going on with the sound effects, but I always like the music in Neptunia games. The game is voiced in both in English and Japanese, so just pick whatever you want, but I personally never had an issue with the English dub.
Wait! Is it because of the new route they added into Rebirth 2, where she and Uni worked on a machine together?
Overall, I think Rebirth 3 is well worth getting if you like the Neptunia games. While the improvements over Rebirth 1 and 2 might not be all that drastic, they make enough of a difference for me to say that Rebirth 3 is the best of the 3 games. I say go ahead and pick it up, especially if you find it on sale. If you're completely new to the series, I would recommend you start with Neptunia Rebirth 1, which you can find at GOG.com or Steam if you're into that sort of thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.
I've grown a step yet again.
Level up.
I've gotten even stronger.
I feel stronger.
Level up.
Level up. Looks like my level. I'm getting fine.